What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Blothers podcast. My name is Jacob Shanker.
And I'm Gora Arieli. We have a very interesting episode in store for you guys today. We're going to be ranking our top 5 NFL teams for this upcoming season.
That's right. There's a lot of changes happened in the off season, and now the season's going to be starting in a few weeks, I believe, a month actually. So let's get right into it. Number 5 for the top 5 teams for next year. Who do you have?
Well, to be honest, I think it's kind of like I think it's kind of unexpected, but I actually have the Browns. I think the Browns have made incredible strides these past few years. Obviously, bringing in OBJ, bringing in Jarvis Landry, buffing up their defense, Myles Garrett being a freaking boss. I think they have a very good, well-rounded team. So I definitely think that they could succeed this season, and that's why I have them at my number 5 spot.
Yeah, the Browns are definitely very good. I think they improved their defense in the offseason. Their offense was already great going into last season. I don't think I would not put them in top 5 right now. I think it's definitely a possibility. They're a definite top 10. They're a definite playoff lock. But I just don't think they are better than all these other teams that I have listed. So for me, for number 5, I got the LA Rams. They already were one of the best defenses in the league, arguably the best defense in the league. And they were a quarterback away from having a great offense because they had the factors. The running back core was okay. I mean, now Cam Akers is injured, which is unfortunate, but they had a solid wide receiver core in Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. And now they have their quarterback in Matthew Stafford, who is arguably a top 10 quarterback in today's game. So I think
I agree with you that he's a top 10 quarterback, but at the same time, I think the thing with Matthew Stafford and the thing that I think was holding him back his whole career is he's pretty injury prone.
Yes.
And so I don't think that they can rely on him as much as you're saying that they can, because he's an injury prone player, right? So he can start the season off well and then get injured and then finish the whole season. And without Matthew Stafford starting at quarterback, where do you have them ranked?
Well, they won't make playoffs.
Exactly. So I think that relying on Matthew Stafford because he's so injury prone puts them out of my top 5.
Well, the reason why I think he was so injury prone was not just himself. The Lions were, I mean, just because they were a terrible franchise and they really, over the past few years, they had just have had a terrible team. But they had one part of their team that was just awful was their offensive line. And that's a big thing in protecting the quarterback. That's what they're meant to do. And kept letting up sacks. And eventually that's a lot of the reason why I think Matthew Stafford was getting injured. And if you watch in some of those games where he gets injured, the defense would just plow right through the offensive line and would just sack him. But unfortunately, they would injure him in the same time. So I think now that he has a better offensive line, a better team overall, they're going to be able to succeed very well, to succeed in the NFL this year.
I mean, okay. I mean, I guess you're right. But at the same time, I do think the Browns have a more well-rounded team. I think that, honestly, I do, because their defense it's gotten better, right? Their offense is amazing. So much firepower in one offense. So I think that even if their defense isn't as good as I think it is, it's their offense can make up for it because they have so much firepower.
Yes, I mean, I think this year is going to be a big year for Baker Mayfield. I think he's going to have a jump from last year, especially since OBJ is going to come back. But, I mean, we'll see what happens with that team. They're definitely going to make playoffs. I know for sure. They could probably be top 5, but for right now, I don't have them in top 5.
Okay. I mean, let's move on to number 4. Who do you have at number 4?
Number 4, I got the Buffalo Bills. I think they're a fantastic team. They were great last year. They have one of the MVP favorites, Josh Allen, one of the best wide receivers, and Stephon Diggs. A solid running back core, great coach, great defense. It's just a very well-rounded team. And there's really no flaws in this team. So I think I got them at number 4.
Okay. I mean, I think I think for number 4, I mean, with the Bills, I think I have them at number 6
Ooh,
because because other than that amazing Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen connection that we saw last year, I don't think their offense was that impressive.
they also have Cole Beasley, who's a very underrated wide receiver.
It's true, Cole Beasley is underrated, but at the same time, he's not a person that you can rely on if something happens. Right?
Are you talking about like if one of them, if like Stephon Diggs gets injured?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true, but that's like a huge like hypothetical with anything. Like he's obviously, but for right now, since everyone on the team is pretty much healthy, like they have a really good offense, and even like you're saying, like yeah, they don't have a fantastic offense or like with an amazing running back and wide receiver core like let's say the Chiefs do, but that connection with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs is so deadly. Like they did so much last year, not only in the regular season but in the playoffs. I mean, they almost went to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I got them at number 4.
I think they're definitely a top 10 team. I think they're a fantastic team. But at the same time, I don't think that you can make the top 5 if you only have one one star player outside of your quarterback on your offense. Because look at the teams that have been winning the Super Bowl these past years, right? You have the Buccaneers, right? Who other than Tom Brady was the GOAT. They also had Mike Evans. They also had Gronk, right? That's 2
I
star
mean, I don't
players.
think Gronk's a star right now. Gronk is like a top 10 tight end at best. He's not
Okay,
a
top,
star anymore.
I guess, but he's still a guy that you can count on. And obviously, in the Super Bowl, he played very well. He's amazing, right? They had Tyreek Hill, they had Sammy Watkins on that team, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
They had Travis Kelce, obviously. So that's a lot of stars in one offense, and that's why I think that with the Bills only having Stephon Diggs as a notable star, that's why I don't have them in my top 5.
I completely disagree with you because I think, I mean, if we're comparing it, let's look at the Packers. Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers. Their connection was unreal last year. It's what secured Aaron Rodgers the MVP, and it's what made Devontae Adams the best wide receiver in the league. There's no discussion. He's the best wide receiver in the league right now. And they have that connection because he passes to him so often. Like, yeah, he has Aaron Jones as well, but he doesn't get the ball an insane amount. Like, he's great for fantasy, and he's a great running back. Like I said, he's a top 10 running back, but it's still that connection that Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams have, just like Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs have. And what comes into account is their team success. And they succeeded last year, and they probably will succeed this year, if not do even better.
I can see what you're saying, but I don't think that you can count on uh, a special quarterback to wide receiver connection to win you games all the time. Because if one of them has a bad game, their whole offense just stops and hits a bump.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that in order to be a top 5 team, you need more than one notable player on your offense besides your quarterback.
I mean, yeah, but I think Josh Allen's a great quarterback, and even without Stephon Diggs, they can still secure a win, depending on who they play, obviously. But they still have Devin Singletary, John Brown, Cole Beasley, so it's not a terrible offense, regardless of Stephon Diggs. It's still a solid team.
I never said it was a bad offense or a bad team. I think it's a great team. That's why I have them at number 6.
Okay.
But I think that in order to be a winning team, and in order to be a Super Bowl winning team, you
Yeah.
need to have more than one star outside of your quarterback.
All right. And who do you got for number 4?
For number 4, personally, I have the Packers. I mean the Ravens.
Okay.
I like the Ravens a lot with Lamar Jackson maybe not having as good of a season last year as he did during his MVP season, but still playing really well. So I think that they definitely have the tools to win games and to be successful. So that's why I have them at number 4.
I mean, yeah, no, don't get me wrong. The Ravens are great, and I definitely think they're like a top 10 team. I probably put them at number 6 or 7 for me. But the reason, I mean, I'm going to use your argument against what you were saying with the Bills. They don't have that great of an offense. Their defense is great, but they don't have that great of an offense. Mark Andrews is a good tight end. Marquise Brown is inconsistent. J.K. Dobbins is not a bad running back, but he's still very young. And Lamar Jackson, I mean, obviously his MVP season was unreal, and he was not able to nearly replicate that last year, but he'll still do well this year, regardless of what his wide receivers do. But they don't really have much of a wide receiver core, even though they tried to do as much as they could in the draft, but still.
I mean, that's what I was about to say. They drafted 2 good wide receivers who do have the potential to be successful in the NFL, right? So I think that because they have such a good defense and because they have Lamar Jackson, who's a fantastic player, I definitely think that they can be successful even without a really notable star, because most of their wide receiver core are rookies. Like their best wide receivers, most of them are rookies.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think, like, yeah, the wide receivers they drafted, I think, are very good. I think they're solid and they'll be good wide receivers. But I don't think they'll be good enough from the get go, right? From rookie year. I think it'll take them a few years to start to become even notable wide receivers, right? I mean, I'm looking at it right now. The Ravens were last in passing yards last year. Out of every single team, they were last. The Jets even had more than them, which is surprising enough, and they practically have nobody.
Yeah.
So I don't think the Ravens will be finished dead last in passing yards this year. They'll definitely do better, but they just don't have enough on offense. They were not really able to sign any wide receivers like Kenny Galladay to their wide receiver core. But I definitely think let's say next year, 2 years, their offense will start to really take shape as it will go beyond Lamar Jackson.
I can see what you're saying, but I still think that since Lamar Jackson has been able to be successful even without the best wide receiver core, that I think he'll do even better with 2 good young wide receivers coming into his offense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be an interesting year for the Ravens. They'll definitely make playoffs, 100%. But I just don't see them doing that well offensively. But let's go on to number 3. Who do you have for number 3?
For number 3, I put the Packers. I think the Packers getting back Randall Cobb is going to be major for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think getting back Aaron Rodgers, even though he was sort of throwing dirt at them, I think it's a major win for them. Aaron Rodgers, obviously, last year's MVP, fantastic quarterback.
Yep.
My second favorite quarterback ever after Peyton Manning. I think he can make the most out of this situation, and maybe I think hot take for before the season starts, I think we see the Packers in the Super Bowl.
Woo! I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised because this is the last dance for with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams apparently. Mm-hmm. So this is probably their last year. And yeah, I have Packers on as 3 as well. I think Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion, has the best chance to win MVP again out of every single player in the league. I definitely think he can do it again because he has a vengeance to show that he's still a great quarterback, and to show it's not even just to show for the team. It's to show to other teams what he can do for their team next season because he's going to leave the Packers. And it's either he's going to retire or he's going to just go to a different team. And that's going to depend on how he plays this year. So I definitely got the Packers. They have one of the best offenses. They got a great defense. Yeah.
Yeah. They're definitely a great team.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the top 2. Who you got for number 2?
For number 2, I have the Buccaneers. I
Mm.
think even though they won the Super Bowl, I think with Tom Brady, obviously, even though he seems to not age, I think every year at the beginning of the year, people are gonna say he's gonna drop off, and with him being what 40, 44 now,
I
43,
think so. I gotta look this up.
he's
I don't know.
44. He's 44.
Yeah,
I think it's finally time for him to slow down, and I think that this is going to be the year that he does slow down. Not saying he's going to have a bad year because it is still the GOAT,
yeah.
but I definitely think he's going to slow down, and that's why I don't have the Buccaneers at number one.
I agree, but I think Tom Brady will do well this season. I mean, I have the Bucks at 2 also, but I think the Tom Brady will do well this season, even though he's getting older and he's gonna regress this season. But I don't think it'll be too much. But the main reason why I have the Bucks at number 2 is because the team I had at number 1 just got so much better. Like, I mean, the Bucks were able to keep every single uh, person on the starting position, which I think is fantastic. But I mean, it's just I don't think they're going to have enough because a lot of the guys are getting older. But for number 1, I think it's pretty obvious, and I'm sure you have the same as well.
Yeah,
The Chiefs, um,
yeah.
they're just so good. They're just so good.
There are literally no weaknesses in this team. I think Patrick Mahomes, possibly, arguably the best quarterback in the NFL right now. Travis
Oh,
Kelsey,
100%.
definitely the best tight end in the NFL. You got Tyreek Hill. You have Kareem Hunt, who isn't as good as he was before he hit women, but he's still a good player.
Yeah.
Um, and then their defense, there's just no holes in this team. And with the with the um with the trades that they made and the signings that they plugged the only hole that they had in their team, which was their offensive line. So I see the Chiefs winning it all this year.
Yeah, no, I definitely see them winning it all as well. I mean, they pretty much everything that you were saying is 100% right. I mean, they have a fantastic offense, fantastic defense, great coach in Andy Reid, and I mean, the reason they lost the Super Bowl, I mean, they 100% could have won the Super Bowl, but the reason they lost was I think the coaching was just not strong. I don't think they were prepared enough, and obviously their defense did not play as well, but also their offensive line was awful.
Yeah.
Was awful. And now they pretty much improved at every single position in the offensive line, in the center, offensive guard, tackle, and then you've got Joe Thuney from the Patriots, which was a huge upgrade for them. And now they have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL.
Yeah.
So
I think this Super Bowl is the Chiefs to lose, and not any other way. Like it's theirs. The only thing they need to do is not mess up.
yeah, I mean, this is the Chiefs are going to become into, in my opinion, they can start to turn into the best team of all time in the next few years. And we're going to see them evolve into that because of
I,
all
I
the players.
definitely think that they're gonna start a dynasty like Tom Brady did with the Patriots.
Yeah, they're gonna become into a team that's gonna be like the Patriots, the Steelers, the Cowboys, where they've had years and years of Super Bowls and being so great. And this is gonna be. I mean, I could see him be like a Bill Russell and win back to back to back to back to back Super Bowls just like that.
Mhm.
So that was our top 5. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to tune in to our next episode.